Rav Kav is the Israeli public transportation card, and if you are planning on using public transportation on your trip to Israel, then this video is going to be extremely helpful. But first, two apologies. This video is going to be very informative, but also very boring. I'm afraid I haven't found anything particularly interesting to say about the card. Second, it is taking me a long time to make this video because I myself don't use Rav Kav. Instead, I pay for public transportation with apps like Move It and Hop On. Using these apps does have a few advantages. They are a bit cheaper to use as they calculate the smallest amount of money you need to pay for your rides at the end of the month, and you don't need to pre-charge them with money either. However, and this is something I should have realized much sooner, as a tourist, it's a question of the simpler, the better. And the Rav Kav is simpler, and you don't need internet access or Israeli SIM card to use it. So where can you get it? How and where do you charge it? How do you use it? Let's dive right in. There are loads of places where you can get the Rav Kav cards: bus station, train station, and shops like Super Farm and AM PM. I would recommend getting one at the airport when you land. In the welcome hall next to the exit, there is a ticket counter called the Public Transportation Information Center. Here you can get a Rav Kav from a person working there. If the office is closed, there is a machine where you can get a Rav Kav. I think that machine is pretty much the same as the machine I will show you here in Jerusalem. I recommend getting a Rav Kav as soon as you can, because while you can buy a paper ticket for the train, you can't pay for a bus ride on the bus. A card costs 5 shekels, which is around $1.50, and once you have it, you will need to charge it. Each individual person needs a card. So if you are a couple, you will need 2 cards. Children under the age of 5 don't need to pay for public transportation. As a tourist with an anonymous Rav Kav card, which is the simple card without a photo and Israeli ID, you won't be able to get a student or pensioner discount, but that's not really a big deal as public transportation is cheap here. I'm in Jerusalem outside the main bus and train station. You can also, of course, head inside the stations and find people who can help you buy the Rav Kav, but I believe in you. You can also do it by yourself. So let me show you how to use the machine. As I said, I think that all the machines are pretty much the same. So you press Purchase Anonymous Rav Kav, and then it asks you if you want to buy just the card or the card and contract. The card itself is useless if it hasn't been charged, so let's charge it now. There are 3 options. The simplest is new single ride contract, which is basically a card with 1 ride. It costs $10.50 as the card costs $5, and a single ride costs $5.50, and 5 plus $5.50 equals $10.50. Another option is to charge value onto the card and store it for future rides. So you can choose to charge 30, 50, 100, 150 or 200 shekels onto the card. How do you know how much you will use? Well, you can't know exactly, and you should be aware that you can't get your money back if you haven't used it all up. So if you charge the card with 100 and use only 30 shekels, then you would have lost 70. You can always be nice and give it to someone at the airport when you fly back, or alternatively, just save it for your next trip to Israel. You can try to work out approximately how much you will use before charging the card. You can always ask Google how much a bus ride from Tel Aviv to Eilat costs. If you are planning on using public transportation a lot, for example, taking the light rail to the bus station and taking a bus to Masada and back, you can save money by buying a daily contract. So another option on the ticket machine is a new daily contract. If you are in Jerusalem and planning on using the light rail and then the buses in Jerusalem more than twice a day, it is better value to buy a daily pass. A daily pass in the city costs $12.50, which is really cheap. But there are 2 important things you need to know. You have to validate the ticket on every ride you take. And if you have 30 shekels of stored value, you can't use that to buy a daily contract. A daily contract and stored value are two different things. Now let's take the next step. You're in Jerusalem and want to take the train to Tel Aviv, use the buses there, and then get back to Jerusalem. Which daily ticket do you need? There are different daily tickets depending on the distances you're going to travel. You probably don't know how far it is from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. You can either go to the ticket office and ask, or you can use the Rav Kav app, which you can download now and play with. So you can see that under daily, I put down the cities I'm going to visit today, so Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. And you see that a daily pass, excluding train, is 32 shekels, and including train, it costs 37 shekels. Now you have two options. You can either load it on the machine or via your phone. You need to hold your card next to your phone, and then it will tell you that it has been charged. If you are next to the main station, you can also do it at the ticket office. Now let's say you accidentally bought the wrong ticket and you got your ticket checked and you were given a fine. Don't stress out and don't pay the fine. How do I dare say that? Well, a few weeks ago, I was walking out of the train station right here, and a man at the information desk recognized me from my videos. He told me I had to make a video about the Rav Kav because so many tourists get confused about. So this video is thanks to him. I won't mention his name since he worked for the train company, but he told me to tell you that if you do get a fine, you can just relax and not pay it. You won't be stopped at the airport when you leave or when you come back again. And as far as I know, Mossad won't be hunting you down in Wisconsin just because you had the wrong ticket on the bus to Masada. I hope all this makes sense and that this video has helped you. I will say that the public transportation system is not built primarily for tourists, but rather for locals, as is the case all over the world. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. In Masada or Caesarea, you will be surrounded by tourists. It's in public transportation that you will actually see the locals, and you will see that the Israelis are good people, even if they haven't yet understood the concept of letting people get off the light rail train before they get on. If you have watched this video up until now, you are probably serious about traveling to Israel. So do yourself a favor and take a look at my website. The link is here below. As I said at the beginning, I use the apps and not the Rav Kav, so there are probably things that I've forgot to say. Once I have put out a video, I can't change it or correct anything I said. It is much easier to rewrite a paragraph on my website, so please do check out the post below. I will also be adding all the relevant links to it. And one last thing, every time I'm in Jerusalem, like today, I add a video to my app or improve a video that's already on it. So if you purchase my app, Jerusalem with Oren, press settings and then check for updated content. You will be able to see my latest videos. And please give this video a like and subscribe. This way you won't miss my next video, which is going to be a rather unusual one. Yalla bye.